Everyone, TJ Alts, I-45 Now and Galveston Now, and welcome to a special edition of Healthcare Unmasked presented by UTMB Health. Great dedication that we were part of over at UTMB Health and John Seeley. And joining us right now to talk about the new Women's and Children's Wing here at UTMB Health, John Seeley, is the chair of OBGYN for UTMB Health, Dr. Yaklik. And this is for you a passion, obviously in the OBGYN area, but tell us what this wing particularly will do for women's health throughout the region.
Absolutely. Well, it's our new mother-baby unit, our postpartum ward where our moms will go after they deliver, and our new labor and delivery unit where actual births occur. They're much bigger spaces. They're laid out in a way that really allows the family to be there with the mom. We know when we're having a baby, we're not just giving birth to a baby, we're creating a family. And having all those people around in the space that they can be supported, that still allows our staff to perform optimal care, is really critically as important to that whole process.
And a lot of thought has gone into this as well about the process, and not just hey, come on in the room, have the baby, stay a couple of days and out. Right. It is about the wholeness, making sure the family is a part of this, not just the mom and dad. Talk about the care that went in to make sure this was a family experience.
Sure. I mean, because we had a lot of people through, making sure the rooms were big enough, that we had rooms for dads to be able to stay and sleep the night, or other support people to be able to stay and spend the night. And then really having the rooms designed in the postpartum setting for that couple of care. So the mom and baby stay together. It allows them to be there, to bond early as a family, to have our nurses and other support staff be there to help them with things like breastfeeding and others that are really so important to early care of their moms, their babies. New moms have a lot of questions. They're uncomfortable. They're not sure what they're doing. Having our staff there to be able to really help them through those early days gets them set up for a comfortable transition to home and their life together.
Lack of a better term here, this is taking the hospital out of childbirth, because it's not just a hospital setting, as someone would think about it, right?
Right, exactly. We're not thinking about, the old-fashioned patient rooms with a couple of patients stuffed in them and a little curtain between them. We're really creating a space where the family can be together and be able to go through this experience. Like I said, we're giving birth to a family, not just to a newborn. This process has been going on for 10 years almost. I didn't come to UTMB until 3.5 years ago, and we were still working on the first phase of this remodel, the AB phase at that point. This has been nearly a decade of blood, sweat, and tears from our staff and everyone to bring this to fruition. Well, I mean, really, OBGYN is a relationship that starts long before somebody arrives on labor and delivery. Often, you met these young women when they were, maybe teenagers early in their lives, cared for them for a few years. Some don't come and really engage with us until they become pregnant. But even at that, those patients have 9+ months to shop for where they're going to deliver. So they're looking for their physician and the relationship they can be able with them, and also the healthcare system that they're going to deliver within. We all know where moms deliver their babies is where babies are likely to get their care as they grow. And equally, the health systems in which grandma goes in when she needs a hip replacement, grandpa goes to for his cardiac disease. So the relationship you build with your obstetrician gynecologist with those women's reproductive health issues really is a relationship with the health system that extends well beyond just women's health.
So I have to ask you this, because you've been rolling up the sleeves, you've been up here every day since you started to hear about this. What's your favorite part of this wing?
The beauty of it now is the fact that labor and delivery is all back on one floor. Through this construction process, it's little painful twists and turns. We were split between 2 floors. I will say, on the days that I cover labor and delivery, I will miss the fact that I will no longer get my 30 flights of steps in, up and down. But it's beautiful for our patients to be able to move seamlessly back and forth across the 2 units, not have to take that elevator trip. So my favorite part will be the lack of an elevator.
Oh, great. Congratulations on getting this up and
Thank
running
you.
here. And as I was pointing out when you and I were talking off camera, is that as we're doing this interview, just down the hall, there already have patients here. It's not like we're waiting for the ribbon cutting to get the doors open and get things done. This was going on. So Dr. Joan Richardson, thank you for coming on. He is the chair of OBGYN for UTMB Health. Stay by. We've got some more coming up to tell you more about this great new wing at John Seeley Hospital, UTMB Health, when we come back after these words from UTMB Health.
UTMB knows when you're expecting, you may not know exactly what to expect. From that first embrace, to all the milestones that follow. We know how important each stage of life is. That's why UTMB Health's obstetrics and gynecology physicians specialize in innovative women's health care through all phases of life. UTMB knows women's health. UTMB knows you. To find an OB/GYN specialist near you, visit utmbhealth.com/women's.
We had just finished a tour, and I'm still emotionally caught by seeing all the work and everyone who has worked so hard to make this happen today for this community. And then it is topped by me coming down with the people who toured with me, and I'll come to them individually, to see this group of individuals being here from the highest level of politics to the community, to people who work here, to just people who are interested in it, the press, to celebrate with us this very, very special moment. So thank you for that.
Welcome back to Healthcare Unmasked. I'm TJ Alt here on I-45 Now and Galveston Now. And a special edition of this show, as we told you at our start here, and always special when we have this guy on with us, Dr. Johan Reiser. He is the president of UTMB Health. And what a special dedication we just had. We just walked through here to see the Women and Children's Wing here at John Seeley Hospital. Talk about the vision that brought this along.
Well, I think it's really a remarkable day today for UTMB and for Galveston, the community, that John Seeley Hospital is being modernized, and it's being completed today with a dedication to children's health and mothers and the mother-children wing, which means that the 6,000 births that we're doing here a year are being supported by some of the world-class facilities that are out there. And we have level 4 destinations, which is the most critical care, highest level for mothers, for children. Neonatal care we can really be proud of in this community. Well, I think that birth is a very happy, very important part of medicine. And if you have an academic health system and an academic medical center where you treat end-of-life issues, severe illnesses, emergency rooms, disasters, we wanted to also focus on the beginning. And I think that's truly important because there are a lot of needs that we are filling in this community and the surrounding community by providing first-class mother-child care right from the beginning. And UTMB seems to be perfectly destined for that. I like to call us a 360-degree institution because we take care of all the missions, and birth is just one of them that we have to have.
Any hospital can handle a birth, can handle the prenatal or anything like that. But in this case, this wing helps set up the dedication to having renowned experts within floor of each other at Max to get things done. Talk about the recruitment effort to bring in the top-notch physicians, nurses, and administrators here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning that because birth, we think typically of a wonderful event where the family comes, and most of the time it works that way. But often, I have to say, there are issues along the pregnancy, along the delivery time, and even afterwards. And we can address this best by being equipped for the highest level of care, and thus the facility is destined to be a level 4 facility. Level 4 means it's the most intensive care. One needs to be certified for that. And in order to be certified, the facility, the actual plant, needs to be ready for that level of care in terms of equipment, but it certainly needs to have the providers from a nursing and a medical staff. Now, if you think of UTMB as the oldest university in medicine and in nursing in Texas, of course we wanted to have that and provide that to this community and to the rest of Texas. So it all comes together today. The plant is ready, the staff is ready, and we are delivering babies as we speak.
One of the things, too, this goes into your mission when you started off and told us on August 15, 2023, that it was about patient care, that's what drives everything here, that everyone who wants to be seen gets seen. Talk about how that fits into that mission statement.
Yeah, wonderful. You have a good memory, TJ, and you hold us accountable. That's wonderful. We need to be able to serve Galveston and the communities like this. And this is a health system that we are proud to have here in this community, and we are making and had made changes that allow patients to come in an easy fashion and hopefully have the best patient experience that they can have. And this unit, this wing, will be contributing to just that mission. So we will have to do additional recruiting. We'll have to make sure that families arrive on the island and have facilities to stay, because as you know, sometimes birth can be a pretty long process. And we have those facilities. We just honored a new space, so-called domiciles, which have now the name Maddie's Place, based on some of the foundation members that gave this facility to us. So we have areas even outside UTMB connected with us where mothers, expecting mothers, can stay and families are safe. And so this is a life process here that we are trying to do, and coupling this to best medicine that is out there. So that's right in the mission of what UTMB does. And as I said in August, if we don't provide the best medical care to this community, all the other things, education, research, innovation, things we want to do, will suffer from not having that piece really optimized. So it's an important step today for us.
We've talked a lot about the healthcare that we provided, bringing in the great experts. One of the things that I know this is important to you is talk about the research component of UTMB Health. And particularly in this area, we've talked here not too long ago about pregnancy on a chip, where there's actually research being done, where figuring out medicines that would work on the mothers and of the infants, so that and without having to do testing and prodding on a pregnant woman and like. So how do you see the research mission coming in and helping this out here?
Right, great question, TJ. I think at UTMB and our health system, research and clinical care are completely intertwined. So everything we want to do clinically and where we put particular focus on, like in this case today, mother-child units and mother-child wings and level 4 clinical care, we want to do heavy research in that area as well. And mother-children are very susceptible components during this 9 months of pregnancy, and often they need medication, mothers, for hypertension or for other disorders, diabetes, for example. And we don't want to just give the established drugs that are out there, because we need better ones. We know that there are side effects. We know that some of them might potentially even harm a baby. And so we are doing research outside the woman's body, outside the child, in the laboratories, where we study new mechanisms, new molecules, how they interact on certain cells, and try to find new solutions to better improve the life quality of pregnant moms and the babies that they will deliver. So this is an exciting piece. It fits in our overall plan of driving research and innovation forward. You know, we have an innovation building here, the old customs house. Inside it's not old, inside it's top modern with biotechnology and new ventures. And doing the research in the laboratories, bringing it in the innovation center, then go back to the clinic. That creates that full circle that makes UTMB stand out from many other institutions.
UTMB Health knows that when you need advanced surgical care, you want a specialist who's an expert in their field. Our surgeons provide innovative and advanced treatment options for adults and children, for neurosurgery, GI, heart surgery, ENT, urology, and more. UTMB knows surgical care. UTMB knows you. To find a UTMB Health specialist near you, visit utmbhealth.com.
I'll speak on behalf of our entire board when I say how proud we are to be involved in the transformation of the 3rd John Seeley Hospital. We had the opportunity earlier to take a sneak peek before this event, and I think you'll all be impressed with what has been created. As many of you know, the Seeley & Smith Foundation was created to ensure the Seeley family's commitment to health care for the citizens of Galveston would continue. It is gratifying to know that the Foundation's investment in UTMB are actually an investment in our island community. We are proud of our almost 104-year relationship with the university. We look forward to seeing how the institution grows and evolves under Dr. Reiser's leadership. Again, I want to congratulate everyone on completing Phase 3A of the John Seeley Hospital modernization. Job well done. Thank you.
There's nothing more important than quality health care for you and your family. That's why UTMB Health is in the communities where you live, providing easy access to innovative care. At UTMB, we know our patients need personalized care to lead healthy and fulfilling lives. providing everything from primary care and specialty care to urgent care and emergency medicine. UTMB knows healthcare. UTMB knows you. To find a UTMB doctor near you, visit utmbhealth.com.
Although children are only about 30% of the population, they're 100% of the future. And they deserve to be born well, and their mothers deserve to be healthy so they can take care of those children. So thank you very much. This has been a very interesting journey, and not without a few rough spots, as many can attest. I started out this journey 6 feet tall. Now I'm down to 5'10", and if it hadn't ended, I'd probably be under 5 feet. But thank goodness it's finished. There have been countless moves, noise, construction dust, busted pipes, floods, all kinds of surprises and changes in plans. But we made it. And we are here in the most beautiful modern facilities you can possibly imagine. We had a great team, a very resilient, creative, patient team who dealt with all the unexpected catastrophes that we had during the years of construction, and there were many. And then I think our staff is really an amazing group of people. They're resilient and they're unflappable, and they just take one problem after another and deal with it and go on. They just keep grinding, and I think that's very important. So they're, as I said before, they really are my heroes. Well, I do think that what it's done is it has made it much more comfortable and much more pleasant for families who have sick children. You know, it's tough enough to have a child who's sick and have to be in the hospital, but it's particularly difficult if you're crowded in the room and you don't really have a place to stay. And one of the things that this has done is it's given us very good facilities for our families who are going to be staying with their children when they're in the hospital. So I'm really pleased about that.
UTMB knows that good joint and bone health is the key to a pain-free and active lifestyle. UTMB Health Orthopedics specializes in providing innovative care for common and advanced orthopedic issues, including sports injuries and total joint replacement. UTMB knows orthopedics. UTMB knows you. To find a UTMB Health specialist near you, visit utmbhealth.com/ortho.
Before we move forward, I want to make a special announcement about an apartment facility that Dr. Reiser mentioned in his comments. We are deeply grateful to have this resource for our patients. And we know this a special place deserved a very special name. We didn't care for domicile, did we, Dr. Reiser?
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's too complicated. Some 4 years ago, the Celia Smith Foundation board member, Doug Rogers, and his wife, Marcy, experienced the arrival of their twin grandchildren with great anticipation. UTMB managed the births of the little girl and little boy. And however, their world was shaken, sadly, when Maddie left the world just 4 days after birth. Today, we would like to officially name the domicile Maddie's Place. I'm not going to get through this. Here's tissues. I think you need them. I was going to say. I practiced this so many times, so I didn't cry. So today we want to officially do a naming of the domicile as Maddie's Place in honor of Doug and Marcy Rogers and their beautiful, beautiful family. Maddie's Place will be a beacon of hope for countless mothers and a place where the memory of a precious soul will inspire new beginnings and a future filled with promise. Let this naming symbolize the unity of our community and the transformative impact that the kindness and purposeful action can have on the lives of those facing difficulties. May Maddie's Place long stand as a tribute to love, to resilience, and the generosity of the human spirit. Thank you.
nothing more important than quality health care for you and your family. That's why UTMB Health is in the communities where you live, providing easy access to innovative care. At UTMB, we know our patients need personalized care to lead healthy and fulfilling lives, providing everything from primary care and specialty care to urgent care and emergency medicine. UTMB knows healthcare. UTMB knows you. To find a UTMB doctor near you, visit utmbhealth.com.
Welcome back to Healthcare Unmasked, presented by UTMB Health. I'm TJ Alds, and we're doing this special presentation here where we've been checking out this brand new wing here dedicated to mothers and babies here at UTMB Health. And with us now is Dr. Deborah Mordecai. She is, make sure I don't screw this up this time, Associate Chief Nurse of the Women and Children's Center at John Seeley Hospital. And Deborah, thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us today, and thank you for covering this wonderful grand opening.
Yeah, and when we saw the dedication, it was one thing when we were all standing there at the podiums and everyone's getting the pat on the backs. It was when we got to walk around here and see how remarkable this is. Just give us, you've been here for 10 years now, give us just how much leaps and bounds from where it was right before you opened this to where you were now.
Wow. I think that sums it up. We're done. Now, 10 years ago, this was the hospital. John Seeley Hospital was built in 1980, and we had adult care, we had the ORs, we had women's and children's, pediatrics, everything was over here in John Seeley. They opened Jenny Seeley for adults and our ORs and everything over there. Of course, have expanded to our off-campus locations, our regional hospitals and centers, League City campus, Clear Lake, and Angleton Danbury campus. And we have had the great and good fortune of support both from UTMB Health and the Seeley and Smith Foundation to be able to take the John Seeley Hospital and convert it redo it, I don't know how to say it, but to really do a remodel for our women's, children's, and pediatric services. That'll also be complemented by outpatient psychiatric and rehab therapies in the future. But right now, we have grand opened our women and children's centers. We're beyond thrilled, and you've all walked around them, saw them at the grand opening, and you can see why we're so excited.
I think one of the things that's interesting about this is that it's from the start on the concept here. It is not what we would see in traditional. We joked a little bit walking around, for example, there's not the observation window where everybody can go see, everyone knows that from the past, of see all the babies in one room and stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. And the important reason for that is
moms and babies are together. They're together 24/7. Moms and babies come in together, and moms and babies go home together. We are also a baby-friendly facility here at UTMB Health at Galveston, and the only reason a mother and a child are ever separated is for a medical condition. That could be for the mother who needs additional care, but then we try to have the caregiver. It might be a spouse, a grandmother, a sister. We try to have the caregiver still in the room with the baby because there's a presence. Even when, let's say, a patient is unconscious, they feel and they know when somebody is close, and that infant needs that family as well. So we try to really keep families together. Sometimes we do have a 60-bed NICU, 60, level 4, designated by the state of Texas, highest level you can get. So we have a 60-bed NICU, and we care for very small, very fragile, or very sick infants in that space. So that would be a time that, the baby would need to be in the neonatal intensive care area. But then we bring the mom down. We'll use an iPad to let her see her child before she can get down. We are very, very committed to that family-centered philosophy of care.
And that's the biggest thing, I think, here, that an important part of it, and maybe people didn't read this in medical books in the early days or anything else, it was very kind of a clinical approach. But over the years, medicine has recognized that the human touch, right, the family relationships, the being next to your baby, even if there's not a real kind of talkative communication, of how big that is. And this has been designed from the get-go to make sure that happens. Not a conversion. It is from day one. when you got here 10 years ago, this was still pipe dream at that time. But just talk about that effort of planning and how much thought went into making this, as you said, baby friendly, family friendly.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love all these questions. When I will say 10 years ago, I can remember, going through the hospital, and we had the babies in a nursery on the 3rd floor. The moms were up on the 6th floor, and the nurses would bring the babies every few hours, every 3 to 4 hours, up to the moms with formula. We used to call it a 6-pack. They'd bring the 6-pack up. And the mom would feed the baby. There, we had at that time between a 0 to 5% exclusive breastfeeding rate. We are still working on improving, but we're up more in the 40% range. And and that's moms and babies exclusively with no formula breastfeeding. About 95%, I have to go back and look at my numbers, but about 95 have some breastfeeding, and that baby goes to breast right after delivery. So making sure that we have that connection, going from that concept of the babies were in the nursery with the doctors and the nurses and visiting the moms, right? And then reconnect, unless the moms asked for them to be in the room 24/7, which did not always happen because we didn't give that education in those days necessarily. Today, the moms and babies are together all the time. It's particularly important in terms of education. We have, if the baby's in the nursery and the mom and the family are not with that child, you don't learn the baby's feeding cues. You don't learn their pain cues. You don't learn their sleep cues. You don't develop that rhythm of I'm awake, I'm asleep, and how to do that. We're able with this family-centered philosophy for the nurses, the physicians, and our ancillary staff to be in there with the parents or with the mom and the caregiver to educate, to go through all the things that could possibly have questions about.
Right. And
then they're practicing for those days that they're here.
And that's the important part. I wanted to really get into that education part because, as you and I had talked about off camera, the old ways of doing things was essentially us. Yeah, your OBGYN would tell you a lot of stuff before you went in as a mother. But once you gave birth, it was like several pieces of paper you just signed,
Right.
maybe a few gifts, and you're out the door. The education part of not only bonding with the child, but also for the mom of, what's that? Because in many ways, the first-time parents, every little thing is the end of the earth, the old joke, and by the time the third kid, if they sneeze, you say, just go away. But it is important to have that and to have professionals tell them, yes, that's common, here's what you do. Or when you see that, here's what you do. And it's a one-on-one education and not some birther class somewhere.
Right. And I think the importance of being together, as you're talking about, having that family-centered philosophy and care. If we can talk to the parents all day long, but if the baby's in the nursery and the mom's in the room, you're not developing that relationship between the two. And when I say that, I mean not just mom and baby, but family as well. You're not developing that relationship. And to tell somebody something or give them a handout or a piece of paper is not the same as recognizing, again, the feeding cues or the sleep cues, or is that a worry? Or I went to change his diaper. Oh my gosh. What do I do? How to take care of a circumcision. Yeah. If we're taking care of it in the nursery and we send the mom home and she's never dealt with that except for a moment before discharge, that needs to be the whole time they're here. So we're very focused on a family-centered philosophy, very focused on that hands-on learning and kinetic energy with the mom and the family and the infant, and to be able to we're not in hospital a long time anymore.
Right.
Right? So we want to make the most of the time that they are here. Also establishing breastfeeding. As I said, we're a baby-friendly facility. That does not mean moms need to come in and breastfeed. They can absolutely formula feed. And there's a lot of important education around that as well. How to mix the formula, making sure not too much, not too little, how much to give the child. But we want the mother and the family to be doing that intrinsically as best as possible before they're discharged. But with the with our breastfeeding, if the baby's not with the mom,
Right.
you've shot yourself in the foot.
Right. You haven't
Right.
started off. And breastfeeding is, I think we have now seen study after study after study that shows
Right.
that children start off breastfeeding. One, they are healthier in the long run. The second part of it is the bonding with, now, trust me, as I say that, don't worry, when they become teenagers, they're still going to reject you on until you drop them off a week later, but a block away from the school. But the bonding is so much different within the family set, too.
Yes, so important, and there are so many things we think about with that. When in a family situation, it's your new parents. You're going home. You're a little afraid. I'll use that word. That's the word that wants to come out. You're a little afraid. You don't know, is that normal? Is that not normal? So to have a little bit more ease with that, and then be able to have that bonding, you'll find that parents are more receptive to the infant. The infant will, I don't want to go on record to say that this would happen, but not as much crying, not as much tension with the family or the child. You get a more even pattern, and that leads to less frustration and hopefully a better experience. We also, one of the things we also educate our parents about is postpartum depression, postpartum blues, which is fairly normal, but postpartum depression and mood swings, very common, can be after birth, but postpartum depression can be a warning sign, and we want to make sure that we're also educating to that. Having some semblance of understanding your infant and understanding those cues before you leave here can tend to reduce that stress level in the infant, reduce the stress level in the mother, and then you're a little bit better able to identify when there are problems coming up.
Is this approach, is it more common across the country now? Or are we seeing just like in pockets where this approach is what's coming in now?
I think most hospitals and most professionals are really very focused on family-centered care. I can't say that it happens everywhere in every part of the country and every hospital. It's not always easy to implement. We really collaborated. That you're bringing up some good questions for me here. As we moved from the nursery is here and the moms are here concept and worked towards that rooming in 24/7, moms and babies together. We worked with our nurses, we worked with our physicians, we worked with the flow to say, how are we going to make this happen? How are we as medical professionals not going to be worried about that baby in the crib that now is not lined up in front of us that we're looking at and going, oh, they're okay, we've got them all. Oh, they're in the rooms. Well, what if the parents don't notice some particular sign? So in establishing this new, what you're seeing is a new hospital, but what you're also seeing is a completely developed, because it's taken 10 years to develop it, I'm telling you, a completely developed programmatic approach and organizational structure to family-centered care and the maternal infant bonding. We, as professionals, had to say and look at how are we going to do that and feel at ease with what we're doing and know moms and babies are safe because we know it's the right thing to do.
And it also goes into the whole thing, and I say this a lot on the show, folks, and you know it when we get to subjects like this, that the silos are coming down. Mm-hmm. Not just the medical side, but also in the patient care side. I mean, both ways have to be approached. There's the professionalism you got to do. Yeah, when a child's sick, you got to take this approach. But it's the everything in between of who the mom is staying with, the baby. It makes sense in any other sense, but for the longest time, it took the medical field a while to get to that point.
It did take us a while to get to that point.
I'm glad that it's there now. There are going to be times that an infant is going to be very sick or have some problem that comes out. And with that, you have the neonatal ICU, the NICU unit here, which is, we should point out, it has a a top accreditation here, level 4 certification.
Yes, it is. We're level 4 neonatal designated with the state of Texas, which is the highest you can be. We've just completed our 3rd designation. We're very proud at the results. We are also level 4 maternal designated for the 2nd time, which is as many times as they've designated so far in the state of Texas. So level 4 maternal, we take care of the sickest of the sick moms. If you come here, we're going to take care of you. It's not, oh, we'll triage you out and look and, oh, that's a little too hard for us, we're going to send you up the road. If you come to us, we can take care of it. That's our level 4 maternal. We look at the neonatal condition, and no matter how tiny your baby is, we can take care of them. There are a few things every hospital looks at and says, oh, that's a child that is better served in XYZ facility. For us, sometimes that'll be maybe a complex cardiac situation. And so we look to make sure, are we doing what we should do, and are we collaborating with colleagues? But for our babies and for our maternal, we're the top level. If you come here, we're not going to have to send you anywhere. And we are in the process of, we're very proud of this, with this new build, we are building out maternal ICU. We take care of those patients currently. We are already doing it, but in the general labor and delivery area, we're physically constructing, thanks to UTMB and Sealy Smith Foundation, an official ICU for our maternal mothers, in addition to the 60-bed NICU that we already have, and Hygroscope E.
Yeah, and you found there's the demand for that too. I mean, as we sit here in January looking at this, it's not as busy, but there's going to be a time that you'll be pushing it with the number of patients in here that are needing those services.
Very much so. We've grown exponentially in the last few years. We really have. And so we looked at that, and even as we were proud to say we've outgrown even before we even opened it. Before we even opened the new wing, we did our math, and in the time that we planned it and the time we went to open it, we needed more beds. So we are currently building out, even though we've opened the new wing, we're currently building out an additional floor of 14 high-risk postpartum beds for moms after they've delivered the babies and still need to be on certain medications or drips or monitoring or things like, or need a higher level of care, like maybe a 1 to 2 nursing care instead of maybe a 1 to 3. Our friends at the Sealy Smith Foundation donated funded an additional $11 million for that. And we're just so incredibly grateful. That'll be ready this next year, and that'll complete our building here.
That's something else. We have a ribbon cutting, and then automatically you're already expanding. That's a fascinating thing to me to hear that when that was pointed out during the ribbon cutting a little while ago that most of you just saw. One thing I should point out when we were talking about that family-centered care that's come into play, then I said, well, how common is it? And it is. I think a lot of hospitals, but what we were seeing was a disparity between if you could afford it, you could get that care. If you couldn't afford it, you weren't getting that care. It was more warehousing care, as the term is used. That's not the case here. It is you come in the door, every patient's treated the same.
5-star. It really is. I've brought some friends down from Houston, the medical personnel, care providers, and they came down and said, oh, yeah, I'd love to see your new hospital. I have to tell you, every one of them that has walked through, their jaws have dropped. They're like, wow, I didn't expect this. This is incredible. And I'm very proud to say, as the chief nurse over here, that it is the quality, it's the safety, our quality metrics, our physicians, our nurses, the education they receive, the care that they provide these patients. Again, if you come here, we're going to take care of you. We know how to do top-level care here. And you take that and you combine that with the ambiance, the zen,
Yeah.
the colorful whimsy on Pediatrics. You combine that with walking into an environment where you go, wow, let's call it a model home. When you walk in that model home, that just hit me. When you walk in that model home and you look and you go, oh, I could so live here, right? That's the feeling I get when I walk on these units, and that's the feeling that other people that we've toured get. They look and say, wow, I never want to leave.
Well, you do have to leave at some point. I mean, but And the other part of it is, and that's why I always enjoy talking to folks in the nursing field, because I think no other area of nursing comes into play more than when you're dealing with moms and babies. It's just,
I believe that.
no, I would agree with you, because you see that, and there is that relationship, and a lot of times it's mother to mother too. I've seen nurses at UTMB Health when their mom's having a tough time, and they've sat down with them and said, "Well, I had this too. Don't worry." But just talk about it as the chief nursing officer for this whole operation, that your nurses here, just the job that they are doing. I want to see what their reaction was when they finally got to come in and see how this all was working, because many of them had input too.
Oh, yes. I was going to say they helped design it. I think when we all saw it come to fruition, our jaws all dropped. We just felt like it was just the most amazing thing. But our nurses, our physicians, our anesthesiologists, our respiratory therapists, our nursing assistants, I could just go down the list. Our dietary folks, our EVS or our environmental care people, everyone had a part in this. Our parents, our families from the community came in and laid on the couches and went, that one's good, oh, that one's not so good, right? And that made differences in how we ordered the furniture. So everybody had a hand in this. It went on literally for years. I think we spent probably the better part of a year in design development to make sure that we really captured everything. So they were there at the beginning. Every discipline, parents, everybody, the community had a hand in this. But when we saw it come together, oh, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, and it was a wow factor when we walked through here the first time. Dr. Deborah Mordecai, thank you for being on with us. We really do appreciate your time.
UTMB Health knows that when you need advanced surgical care, you want a specialist who's an expert in their field. Our surgeons provide innovative and advanced treatment options for adults and children, for neurosurgery, GI, heart surgery, ENT, urology, and more. UTMB knows surgical care. UTMB knows you. To find a UTMB Health specialist near you, visit utmbhealth.com.
Everything born on the island has a new meaning today. At least for me. With more than 6,000 deliveries a year, this place is ready, this community is ready to bring more Galvestonians to this planet. And it's really a special moment for me. So there's so many remarks I want to make sure I hit that even I, who normally speak on the cuff, will look into my drafts today. So again, thank you, Deb, for this really wonderful introduction. We had just finished the tour, and I'm still emotionally caught by seeing all the work and everyone who has worked so hard to make this happen today for this community. And then it is topped by me coming down with the people who toured with me, and I'll come to them individually, to see this group of individuals being here, from the highest level of politics to the community, to people who work here, to just people who are interested in it, the press, to celebrate with us this very, very special moment. So thank you for that. This is an exciting occasion, not only for UTMB Health, but also for women, infants, children, and families we serve. I have 3 children. These were the most precious moments of my life, to go through labor and delivery. They were long, though. And one time I tried to go in between out and have some Italian food, and my wife said, no, that's not a good idea. As you will soon see when you tour the facility, we have transformed this portion of John Seeley Hospital into a very welcoming, family-friendly space for women, infants, and children in our care. You may recall that a prior phase opened in June 2021, greatly enhancing our women's, infants, and children's inpatient services. In this now completed phase, we have continued our work to make patients' rooms much larger, Texas style, and more accommodating to the needs of our patients and their families, while ensuring our expert faculty and staff have the space and technology they need to provide the most advanced care. And let me tell you, this care is very advanced. We have a level 4 neonatal ICU. We have level 4 facility for mothers and children. I mean, there are very, very, very few institutions in the United States that can rival that. So I would deliver any child here at UTMB. It won't happen for me, but please make sure that everybody understands, and we will make sure that we talk about it. We'll have many good stories come from here. With this wing now open for patients, we have tremendous capacity in terms of labor and delivery. Birthing suites, mother-baby couplet care, neonatal intensive care, and pediatric medical, surgical, and ICU care, all of it. And we're not done growing. The next modernization phase is already underway. It will include an inpatient rehab unit for individuals transitioning home from the hospital, as well as an outpatient behavioral health unit. We anticipate those spaces on floors 8 and 10 to be substantially completed later this year or early 2025. The final phase will include rooms to provide care for high-risk maternity patients with a planned completion date of spring 2025. When the entire modernization project is complete, John Seeley Hospital will have 246 patient beds in nearly 400,000 square feet of space. This impressive modernization has been made possible in large part by the Seeley and Smith Foundation, which has contributed a total of $111 million to the $299 million modernization project to ensure John Seeley Hospital remains a source of compassionate, leading-edge care for our patients. This is the latest in a long legacy of advances the Foundation has fostered here. More than a century of Seeley Smith Foundation philanthropy has enabled UTMB Health to maintain state-of-the-art clinical facilities and equipment on our historic Galveston campus to ensure our mission will thrive well into the future. I also want to mention a recent development that will allow us to expand our services to patients experiencing high-risk pregnancies. The Foundation has developed a facility consisting of 4 newly renovated apartments close to our campus, where these patients can stay in home-like comfort minutes away from our maternal fetal medicine experts. Those domiciles are very critical advances to our care that we provide. Think about families coming down here. Sometimes it takes a while until the baby is ready and the mother is ready, and we have these very, very critical places, these domiciles. It's wonderful. This allows these mothers to get the highly specialized care they need without having to travel long distances. We are so thankful for this new opportunity to serve the families in our care. At this time, will the Seeley Smith Foundation board members please join me so we can appropriately recognize you? Board members, please come to the front. This ceiling tile is one in a series created by former UTMB pediatric patients and their families. The children's tile art is a precious reminder of the individuals we care for and therefore represents one of the most valuable mementos we can share. Please accept this tile on behalf of the women, infants, children, and families cared for at UTMB. Thank you. Thank you. Their lives have been touched in countless ways by the generosity and vision of the Seeley and Smith Foundation. Thank you. Mr. Kelso, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Dr. Yaklik and Dr. Richardson, along with the outstanding nurse administrative healthcare leadership, their vision helped guide the plan. The UTMB facilities team, who ensured the modernization was well designed and well executed, Hensel Phelps, the general contractor, and I believe Cannon Architects was the architect. So I speak on behalf of our entire board when I say how proud we are to be involved in the transformation of the 3rd John Seeley Hospital. We had the opportunity earlier to take a sneak peek before this event, and I think you'll all be impressed with what has been created. As many of you know, the Seeley and Smith Foundation was created to ensure the Seeley family's commitment to health care for the citizens of Galveston would continue. It is gratifying to know that the Foundation's investment in UTMB are actually an investment in our island community. We are proud of our almost 104-year relationship with the university. We look forward to seeing how the institution grows and evolves under Dr. Reiser's leadership. Again, I want to congratulate everyone on completing Phase 3A of the John Seeley Hospital modernization. Job well done. Thank you.
Before we move forward, I want to make a special announcement about an apartment facility that Dr. Reiser mentioned in his comments. We are deeply grateful to have this resource for our patients. And we know this a special place deserved a very special name. We didn't care for domicile, did we, Dr. Reiser?
Complicated.
Yeah, it's too complicated. Some 4 years ago, the Seeley and Smith Foundation board member, Doug Rogers, and his wife, Marcy, experienced the arrival of their twin grandchildren with great anticipation. UTMB managed the births of the little girl and little boy. And however, their world was shaken, sadly, when Maddie left the world just 4 days after birth. Today, we would like to officially name the domicile Maddie's Place. I'm not going to get through this. Here's tissues. I think you need them. I was going to say, I practiced this so many times so I didn't cry. So today we want to officially do a naming of the domicile as Maddie's Place in honor of Doug and Marcy Rogers and their beautiful, beautiful family. Maddie's Place will be a beacon of hope for countless mothers and a place where the memory of a precious soul will inspire new beginnings and a future filled with promise. Let this naming symbolize the unity of our community and the transformative impact that the kindness and purposeful action can have on the lives of those facing difficulties. May Maddie's Place long stand as a tribute to love, to resilience, and the generosity of the human spirit. Thank you. So it's no longer called, the other thing. That was it. Today it is Maddie's Place forever, and we'll have signage, and it'll be beautiful. And so now that I've gotten through that, at this time I want to invite our Chair of Pediatrics and Obstetrics and Gynecology to say a few words. Dr. Richardson's going to start us off, and she'll be followed by Dr. Jerome Yaklick. Dr. Richardson.
I can't tell you how happy I am that this day has finally arrived. We started this journey in 2017. Some of the people who started the journey with us are no longer here, but fortunately we were able to pick up a few people along the way. But always, always, always with us on this journey has been the Seeley and Smith Foundation. They're the ones who made it possible to start the journey and partially finance the trip. And we appreciate that. Thank you so much for your 100-year unwavering support of UTMB and your special, constant support of our programs to care for children and mothers. Although children are only about 30% of the population, they're 100% of the future. And they deserve to be born well, and their mothers deserve to be healthy so they can take care of those children. So thank you very much. This has been a very interesting journey. And not without a few rough spots, as many can attest. I started out this journey 6 feet tall. Now I'm down to 5'10", and if it hadn't ended, I'd probably be under 5 feet. But thank goodness it's finished. There have been countless moves, noise, construction dust, busted pipes, floods, all kinds of surprises and changes in plans. But we made it. And we are here in the most beautiful modern facilities you can possibly imagine. Hats off to our wonderful staff of physicians and nurses and support staff. You are the most resilient, the most positive, the most unflappable people in the world. No matter what the challenge, you guys just keep grinding. And thank you so much. You are, in fact, my hero, my heroes. I always wanted to meet a hero. Never did I think that I would be standing here in a room full of them. So thank you very much. It's a great day for UTMB, and it's a great day for mothers and babies. Thank you so much.
For those that don't know me well, I really hate public speaking. And I am going to insist from now on that I come earlier than Joan and Deb and all these other people, because it's really horrible to be at the end. But I've been here for about 3.5 years at UTMB, and the one thing I've really learned that's more impressive than the top-notch education we provide our learners, all the wonderful world-class research we do in our labs, and the exceptional patient care we provide to our patients is really the resilience of this community, this institution, and John Seeley Hospital. Hurricanes, fires, winter freezes, everything's tried to stop, but it just keeps going and coming back stronger than before. So we're grateful for that. This would not be possible without the support of the UT system, our dedicated, talented faculty, our nurses, our staff, and the continued generous support of the Seeley and Smith Foundation. Their commitment to UTMB, our community, and this facility makes the impossible possible. There's no way we should be delivering 5,000 plus babies on a barrier island 50 miles from Houston. This should not exist, okay? But it's because of the exceptional care and the support they provide that we're able to do this. And that clinical volume is the fuel that powers our research and our educational missions. We wouldn't be able to accomplish any of this without the clinical volume that we have. So we're eternally grateful for their support. We're eternally grateful for the patience of our faculty, our staff, our physicians. Medicine is increasingly a team sport. We couldn't do this without the full team, and our new home field is beautiful, and we're looking forward to continuing to serve the community and through our research and other outreach to the world. So we really appreciate your support.
Oh, yeah, you might have to take over. I'm going to cry.
You got it.
Oh, thank you, Doug. I got this.
You got this.
Today, we celebrate the opening of this final wing for the John Seeley Hospital. However, we all know that hospitals don't build themselves, right? This success would not have been possible without the talent and the passion of two very special people. Amber Clayton. Yeah, you should put your stuff down. And Christy Hermes. Christy. She loves public speaking slightly less than you, right? Okay. Amber and Christy have been the rock and the soul of this project. They have envisioned and successfully executed on every single detail. Today, we recognize you both as an integral part of this amazing success.
Amber and Christy, on behalf of Hensel Phelps, Cannon Design, Courtesy Architects, and UTMB, we would like to present you both with these signed plaques to remind you of your outstanding contributions to this amazing project. Is it not appropriate that we'd have two women leading the charge for this new women's center?
Yep.
You both leave a legacy which will impact the lives of patients, families, and our own UTMB family for many, many decades to come. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. So everybody look up for like 3 seconds here and see
Okay.
what happens. Good. Okay, I'm ready if everybody else is.
So we're going to do a fake cut?
We're not cutting yet. We're going to.
This is the pretend open. Okay, pretend cut.
He has this ribbon cutting stuff down. He travels with us. He's got this down. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, good.
On the count of 3.
What do you want to yell?
What are we doing next? UTMB!
UTMB on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
UTMB!